When I first started my art career and journey, I was so fascinated by listening to other artists talk about how they use their art to make money. So, as an artist that makes a full time income from my artwork, I figured at least one of you out there might get inspired by this or find it some form of interesting. So, I'm going to share the different ways that I make money from my art. But the end of the video has some really great info that actually might help you to be finding more success with your art business and money as well. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. These are some of the main ways that I make money from my art, but by no means an exhaustive list. I mean, part of the fun of being an artist is playing with new ideas. Now, I want to kind of put a little caveat here. Some people think that artists should only be making money by selling their original artwork and everything else is somehow wrong or whatever. I completely disagree, but you know what? Whatever. They can think what they want to think. I personally think that, any way that you can turn your artwork into an income, if that's what you desire, is absolutely amazing. There's a unique path for everyone out there, and who cares what other people think? Who cares what society tells us? We can step past our expectations and, live our own dream lives when it comes to our artwork. Okay, let's jump in. So the first way that I make money with my artwork, which is kind of, the original one, this is where a lot of artists start, but I sell original artwork. I'm creating artwork, you get to see it in these videos, and a good portion of my income for my artwork is by selling original artwork. Now, for me personally, this is usually a combination of actually selling art that I create for my own purposes. Sometimes these are fun pieces. Sometimes these are paintings that I use for demos inside the Wildlife Painting Academy. Big range of stuff. But it also includes creating custom artwork that gets commissioned by clients. So I've done a pretty big range of commissioned artwork in the past. Anything from indoor and outdoor murals, illustrations to be used in scientific documents and journals, to tattoo designs, to painting on feathers, to painting on saw blades, to painting on rocks. All of these different things. But these days, the only commissioned artwork I take are custom pet portrait commissions because these seriously light me up. I love animals. I love pets. I think that's pretty obvious. But I absolutely love being able to create artwork of people's pets. So dogs, cats. I've even painted a pet portrait commission of a falcon, which is just the coolest thing ever. But this is one of the ways that I make money with my artwork. I create these custom portraits for people of their pets, and it just brings so much joy to my life. It's such an honor to be able to create these one-of-a-kind portraits specifically for someone to commemorate a pet that they've lost, or, maybe just to celebrate and cherish the pet that currently is with them. I know I love painting my own corgi newbie, and it brings me a lot of joy that I can, also add joy to other people's lives through my artwork by creating them a unique pet portrait. So I love this method. This is where a lot of artists start because, as you're starting your art journey, this might even be before you have dreams of selling your artwork, but it's kind of one of the first places to typically start. You're going to be creating artwork, and that art is usually pretty desirable. So it's a great place if people want to start making an income from their artwork, is you can actually sell that original art you create, whether it be pieces that, you wanted to create, or if it's doing custom artwork for clients. Now, the next way that I get paid for my art and make money from my artwork is through teaching art skills. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then it's pretty likely that you've heard me talk about the Wildlife Painting Academy. So this is my super affordable monthly membership where I teach artists just like you how to paint realistic wildlife more easily. It's a digital membership where people around the globe can create an account, they can subscribe for as long or as little as they would like, and then they can dig into my big database of full-length masterclass painting tutorials. This is where I walk you through every moment with my voice. There's an awesome palette cam so you can see how I'm mixing my paint as I go. And it's kind of the closest thing to basically have me sitting over your shoulder telling you how to paint realistic wildlife. So I also make money from my YouTube channel through ad revenue, but primarily it is through the Wildlife Painting Academy when it comes to making money from teaching art skills. There's so many different ways that you can bring in income when it comes to teaching artwork. And if this is something that feels right to you, then I highly recommend pursuing it. Now, not everybody is going to be a good fit for teaching artwork, or you might not currently have the confidence to do it, but maybe you love the idea. You've got that little bit of you that loves teaching, loves sharing information. And thankfully, with, this digital age, it is easier than ever to start doing this. So, you could totally do in-person lessons if you want and be able to teach people that people that you can actually see in person in your community. But you also have the option of expanding that reach and teaching online. And this can be in so many different forms. The first way that I started teaching and making money from that, I had done in-person workshops and stuff, but what really started the ball rolling for me was actually creating instructional ebooks. And I would basically advertise them in my YouTube videos, but this ebook here was a full sort of tutorial in, a written form, complete with pictures and stuff like that. And that was the very first way that I actually started teaching art skills online for money. And then from there, I realized that I was already, creating video footage for all of my artwork that I created. And, it kind of clicked in my head. I was like, what would be a lot more effective than a book form? Probably video form, right? That is when the Wildlife Painting Academy was born. And now I haven't looked back. I absolutely love it. The comments I get from artists that are inside of it, learning is just, lights me up. I love it. But there's so many different things that you can do. You can create a membership like me. You can use YouTube. You can create ebooks. You can even use a platform like Skillshare that makes it really easy to start getting in front of an audience that wants to learn art. So many different ways that you can do this. And if you kind of have that little voice inside you that says, man, I'd really love to start teaching, I highly recommend you start today. Start little. Just do one little step and, you might be surprised what you can create. So the third main way here that I want to talk about that I bring in income with my artwork is by selling art products. Now, this takes a little bit of unpacking. I'm not referring to art supplies or anything like that. So let's kind of talk about this a little bit. Ultimately, there are endless possibilities here, but my own personal success comes with selling tarot decks that I have designed myself. I affectionately called 2021 the year of tarot for me because I created, launched, and now consistently sell 3 tarot decks, well, technically 2 and 1 oracle deck in 1 year. Yeah, it was so much work, so much art, but it was the most amazing experience and I'm completely addicted now. And it just, I get shivers when I think about it because it just makes me so happy. The experience of it all has still completely rocked my world. So if you want to learn more about how I launched and created my own tarot decks that I now sell daily, then leave me a comment and maybe I'll do a deeper dive on this topic if enough people want to actually hear about it. So this is kind of how I sell art products, right? This is, a product, it's tarot decks, that I have created with all of my own artwork. And the demand for this particular niche is really high and it's been amazing. But there's so many different amazing things that you can do here. You can also sell prints and reproductions. I definitely do. I don't focus on it as much now, specifically just selling art prints or reproductions, but it definitely had a big part of my sort of upcoming, artist journey. But now I've developed things that sell a lot more quickly for me, and I really enjoy doing a lot more. So I occasionally sell some prints and reproductions, but it's more of like a passive thing where, I'm not pushing it, I'm not marketing it, but if I happen to get a sale, awesome. I definitely put almost all of my effort towards these other factors though, because they work really, really well for me, and I developed them over time, and they've completely changed my life. So those are the main ways that I make money with my artwork, but there's some really important things here that I want to be able to highlight. And ultimately, this little section here is to help you kind of change your perspective on making an income from your artwork, but also give you some ideas and encouragement to start to really launch your own art business. So I make my income from different streams, all of which revolve around my artwork. This makes my income much more secure because I don't have all my eggs in one basket. And if there's anything we've learned in the past few years is that life is pretty unpredictable. And implementing various income streams into my art business has been one of the best things I've ever done. Because even if you have different areas of your artwork, there's going to be an ebb and flow. Sometimes summer is really slow for certain things and really busy for other things. So by, being able to spread out the way that I make money from my artwork, it really helps me to keep things more consistent month over month, instead of having some months that are crazy busy and then other months that are really dead. And, even if you've got those months that are really busy where there's a lot of money coming in, trust me, it's still going to make you panic in those slower months. So having things kind of spread out a little bit more works really, really well for me. And it might not work as well for you. You might be able to thrive with just one income stream. But for me personally, I feel much more secure kind of spreading it out a little bit more. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I didn't start with all of these income streams. So a lot of artists have a tendency to overwhelm themselves when they first start trying to make an income from their artwork. They try all the things and then they're shocked when none of them really work. So adding a new income stream to your art business takes time, okay? I want you to remember that. It takes time. And part of that process is you are going to find out things that don't work, and that's totally okay. So you have to give things time to work. You also have to have an open mind, right? And accept the fact that sometimes things don't work. And that doesn't mean that you've wasted time or wasted energy or whatever. You learned something that didn't work for you, so don't do that thing. But it gives you sort of a better indicator as to what might work. So, people tend to think of failures as this really big, scary thing, but I kind of love failures. You can learn so much information from them if you go into them with the right mindset and figure out, okay, this thing didn't work. Great, now I know this. Let's pivot, let's try something else, okay? So my favorite bit of advice for artists that want to start bringing money into their art business is to pick one thing, and then optimize it before moving on to something else. So maybe you're like me and you love painting dogs. Rather than trying to do all the things, focus on one style, even one size of custom dog art commissions. Or maybe you love teaching people how to create their first watercolor painting ever. Rather than trying to teach all of these different mediums or styles, pick one thing, master it, optimize it, and then start to explore, okay? So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for listening. I know my own art business is dynamic and always evolving, so I might have to do an update video like this every year just to see how things have shifted. So did this video inspire you to create a new income stream for your art business? Leave me a comment to share any of your best ideas that you've ever had for making money from your artwork. Now, if you wanted to check out any of the things that I mentioned in this video, like the Wildlife Painting Academy, my custom pet art, or my tarot decks, then there's links to everything in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.